Welcome back to A Shot of Weeb. This is episode 22, where I, the Epic Wob, will be reviewing, along with Seaweed Ambassador.
That's me.
A show that I've... That's him. That's the guy on the other camera.
Yeah.
Am I recording? Yes, good.
Hey, this would be really bad if you weren't.
Where I broke the rules, and we are not watching an anime series like we're supposed to. I picked out an anime movie.
Yes.
I don't know how often this will happen because it's technically not our premise, but I'm open to more of them. So we can talk about that.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'm fine with it.
We watched one. Should I announce what we watched, or should we drink, or should we? We watched one of Studio Ghibli's more known movies.
More well known.
I'm not even drunk yet.
I know you're not. Yeah, I've had more to drink than you.
One of his more well-known movies, Howl no Goku Shiro. Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you want to drink?
Let's drink, yeah, because I think you might need it.
Hey, I'm going light today. I did not feel like shooting straight today. I've made myself a mix. I got a nice combination of Sprite and vodka, so I'm going to suffer a lot less.
Well, I'm shooting straight, so I got the rum. So I'm going to suffer a lot more.
Have fun.
I won't. All right. Kampai.
Kampai, have fun, man.
Oh, man. I hate rum. It always does this to me. But I got to get through this bottle. I like it mixed with stuff, but not shots. I need to get something else for doing the shots because, oh, man, it's just not good. It's not good.
Rum smells like death.
I like rum, just not by itself.
I don't remember if I talked about this on stream or on stream. You know what I mean, on podcast last time. Oh, I'm gonna sass my dad. If he ever gets around to this episode, he's gonna give me so much crap. He used to get Cannon Blast rum, and he would mix it with Coke. And one time I got curious, and I opened the bottle of Cannon Blast, and I just took a sniff, and I'm just like, nope, nowhere near me. Keep it over there. Look, I'm all into the pirate fantasy, like roleplay, whatever. I pretend to be a pirate, nice and cool.
I love Jack Sparrow.
I ain't touching rum.
No,
I won't touch
rum. Is good when you mix it with Coke or another soda beverage, but not on its own.
I mean, I started playing Sea of Thieves with some friends, and I'm like, let's get into it. We gotta be drunken pirates. And I'm like, I don't know if vodka's a pirate's thing, but dang it, it's the best I've got.
It's not a pirate's thing, as far as I'm aware. At least not a Caribbean pirate's thing.
I won't touch rum. I don't know what grog is or how to get it.
Grog sounds disgusting just by the name. But we're not here to review alcohol. We're just here to drink it and then talk about anime.
Look, I get distracted easily. You know this.
Yeah, I do. I do know this. Okay. So yeah, we watched...
Oh, my notes. I should grab those.
Oh, my God, dude. Okay, so yeah, we watched Howl's Moving Castle.
I do this every week.
We watched Howl's Moving Castle. It's you know, I have seen it, like, this was like my 7th or 8th time watching it. I mean, at least, like, remembering, like, fully watching it, because, like, I don't know. So, like, if you live in the States, right, I don't think this is really going to apply to anybody else outside of the United States. But, on TV, there's, like, a few channels, you know, like on cable and stuff, that would just, like, show a bunch of movies. And I think it was... I don't remember exactly what channel this would come on, but this would, like, come on TV all the time. Like, this movie.
Really?
And I think the reason is because it was, for a while, Disney had the rights to it in the States. Like, they made an English dub for it and stuff. They did for a few other movies as well. Or Ghibli movies.
I remember coming across an English dub that had some pretty big names on it.
Yeah. I say so I think that's probably why. But I saw this movie so many times as a kid because of that.
Oh, Christian Bale.
There you go. Yeah. But because of that, I saw it so many times as, like, a kid. But, like, I don't think I ever really fully watched it. I would just kind of, like, have it on while I was like doing something else or whatever. But I remember like thinking like, wow, this is cool. This is cool. I want to watch something else like this. Cool. And here we are. It's like I did it. I watched something else like it, and that has become my life now.
Oh no. So I had seen this before, presumably sometime after it came out in the States, or
yeah, most likely.
But not long after.
Yeah,
I would have been very, very young. Like,
this movie released in 2004.
2004. I don't know if that was the Japanese or
that was the Japanese release. I imagine like 2006.
I also don't remember if I
would be like the latest it would have come out over here.
Yeah, I think I watched the English dub. I was probably younger than 10, so I barely remember it.
Yeah.
Which is why, even though I've technically seen this before, I'm considering this to be a fresh watch for me, a blind watch.
Yeah. I mean...
Because in practicality, I only knew a couple of lines, a couple of set pieces.
Yeah, I see. Because if you didn't remember much, then, like, it's a fresh watch.
I didn't even know what the plot was, other than that there was a castle that moved.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So this was a fresh watch then, yeah, for sure.
Okay, I'm just going to... Spoiler tag. The only things that I remembered going into this was the door that would open to different cities when you turned a dial.
Okay.
And I remembered something about the main character being sad because she put water on Calcifer. Those were the only two things I remembered.
Interesting. That's interesting, because I do vividly remember when I watched this like as a kid, like on TV and stuff. I only remember like one scene from then, and it was when like the blonde guy, this mysterious blonde man, and the main character girl were hopping through the town through the air.
So that's right at the very beginning.
Yes. That's all I really remember, but I do know that I watched like past that, and I saw scenes past that. That's just like the only thing I remember, and I remembered that before I watched this movie again. I know, like, that sounds weird, right? Because I've watched this movie a lot. But like, yeah, I mean, it's like that scene to me is like one of those scenes that like defines Ghibli as a studio. You know, like the other ones for me would be like in Spirited Away, when I don't know if you've seen that one.
I have. I actually watched it a couple of years ago.
Are you telling me?
Again, I'd seen it when I was really little, but I rewatched it about 2 or 3 years ago.
You're telling me I'm about to give you a reference that you know? This is a first for the podcast, bro.
It only took you referencing one of the biggest anime movies of all time.
Yeah. But like when Haku is consoling, I can't remember her name now, but like when she first
Chihiro?
Yeah, Chihiro. When Haku is consoling Chihiro after like before she goes like fully into the bathhouse. If you remember that scene.
I'm a little too foggy on it.
Well, that's one of the other scenes that like really like kind of defines Ghibli for me. I mean, like there's a couple others, but like one of them is from Ocean Waves, which I know you haven't seen. And like,
see, I know that I've seen a bunch of Ghibli movies, but I don't remember most of them because I had to rewatch Spirited Away about 2 years ago because I didn't remember it. I had to rewatch Howl's Moving Castle because I didn't remember it. I'm pretty sure I've seen Ponyo, and I remember literally nothing about it other than my parents thought it was dumb.
I don't like that movie. Really don't like that movie.
And neither did my folks.
Really don't like that movie. But like, I mean, the reason I say you haven't seen Ocean Waves is because like nobody has seen Ocean Waves. Or like if they have, they're like, they're not very good, don't watch it, which is a lie. You should watch it. It's one of the top 3 Ghibli movies of all time. I will stake my claim on that, with the other one being When Marnie Was There. Love that movie.
I mean, I would say just for like what I know of, and therefore what I'm assuming the public conscience is, because I'm not as familiar with these as I should be.
Yeah.
The big Ghibli movies are Ponyo, Castle, and Spirited Away. I feel like those are the three people hear about the most.
Yeah.
And Mononoke. Sorry, and Mononoke.
Yeah, Mononoke. Yeah.
I've not watched Mononoke at all. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah. See, I have watched all of the Ghibli movies.
And then I know of Grave of the Fireflies, and I don't think I'm brave enough to watch it.
It's good. You should watch it. Just because it makes you cry like a little bitch doesn't mean anything, buddy.
I have an image to uphold. No, I don't. If we watch Zombieland Saga, I am going to cry.
Yeah, I cried 13 times watching Gakugarashi. I think you're fine, buddy.
I think I only cried once during Gakugarashi.
Yeah. See?
I don't remember when, but I do think it got me once, like right near the end.
Well, yeah. Say with Ghibli, yeah, I would say that those four are probably up there. I would say Nazca is another one. In terms of anime fans, like Nazca, Porco Rosso like comes up a lot, but I don't know if people have really watched it or they just see, oh, funny pig man, haha, because the main character is a pig, and stuff like that. But
that's the new one, right?
No, Porco Rosso is old.
I was talking with my roommates earlier today, and like Miyazaki did a film in like 2016, but the title was in like French.
Oh, that was like the Red Turtle or something, right?
Oh, yep, that's the one. That's
yeah. I haven't watched that one because it's not like technically a Ghibli movie. It's weird.
That's fair. There's a difference between Ghibli and Miyazaki.
Yes, because Miyazaki technically, Nausicaa is also not a Ghibli movie because it was made at a different studio, but it is directed by Miyazaki.
Yeah, and Miyazaki also did a Lupin the Third movie. I'm
Castle
sure.
of Cagliostro. Yeah.
Oh, that Cagliostro was his.
Yeah, Cagliostro is his.
I thought it was one of the other ones.
Nope.
Because I was looking into that. To let you guys see behind the curtain, I messaged Seaweed like 6 times yesterday in a row with no response because I'm that friend.
Wait, what time was this at?
I sent him a trailer. Probably like 1 or something.
Oh, I think I was
like
already asleep.
Very recent. Very possibly. Oh, it was at 3 a.m.
I was already asleep at that point. That's why I didn't respond. Don't act like I'm some bad friend. Come on.
No, I wasn't acting like you're a bad friend. I just assumed you're busy or something, but I kept messaging anyway. No, I sent you the trailer for the new Lupin the Third movie, and I'm like, I can't wait for this to come out. And then I researched it and found out it came out like 3 months ago, and I'm like, oh. Wait.
Yeah.
Or sorry, the English release came out 3 months ago. The Japanese release was like 2019. So I'm just super behind the times. I legitimately thought it hadn't come out yet.
Yeah, no, that's been out for a hot minute now.
Yeah, no, I need to watch it now that I know it's out because I'm really excited for it.
Yeah.
And was waiting for it to come out before I chased it down.
Yeah. Say and for those who don't know, with Studio Ghibli, there's 2 main directors. I don't know if you knew this either. But there's 2 main directors.
Oh, I didn't. I thought it was just Miyazaki that everyone talks about.
Well, Miyazaki's the one everyone talks about, but there's another guy who I think I might actually prefer, honestly. But it is Isao Takahata. His movies are fantastic. He did the what's it called? Oh man, Kaguya-hime. He did that one. He did. He also did some stuff for Lupin the Third. He did some episodes for it. He did Grave of the Fireflies as him.
Okay.
Pom Poko. Yeah, he did a lot of stuff like that. But like, he did recently pass away. I think 2 years ago, I believe. But yeah, 2 years ago. But he's like the other like main director at Ghibli. Like everybody knows Miyazaki, you know. Miyazaki did like all the really big hits, like Spirited Away, Howls, stuff like that.
The ones that made it a common name in the States.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Though I would say Grave of the Fireflies is probably up there. A lot of people have heard of that one as well.
Yeah, I don't
which is Takahata.
I can't speak to things I aren't
but
proof
it's
of.
definitely not like as highly regarded as like Spirited Away, obviously.
Yeah, no, Spirited Away is like the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, it's my top my top 3 Ghibli movies. But so Takahata's the other guy, and then they've had like some other directors come in. I believe the CG Ghibli movie, I believe, is Miyazaki's son directed that one. Ocean Waves is...
Wait, which one is this? This sounds familiar.
It's called Aya to Majo. Let me get the English name up for you. Aya and the Witch. Or Earwig and the Witch.
I feel like you linked me the trailer for this.
I did
recently.
Not. I did not. Somebody else might have though.
Maybe I'm crazy.
It very recently came out. It came out December 30th of last year.
Okay, maybe I did just see the trailer somewhere else. I could have sworn you were the one who sent it to me, though.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Maybe I did. I don't know. But yeah. So like, there's like other like.
Wait, no, I found a news article on it and sent you the trailer, and you're just like, yeah, that's the thing.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that's right. That sounds better. Yeah. Yeah. So like, there's a lot of like it's not just Miyazaki. Like Ocean Waves is directed by somebody completely different. So like, while most people think it's Miyazaki, it's not just all Miyazaki. That being said, yeah, Howls, yeah, that's Miyazaki.
Yeah.
And you can see Miyazaki in the way it's told, the animation, like it's pretty wild looking at like the castle, like Cagliostro and stuff, because like you can see a direct link from Cagliostro to like his most recent movie, which maybe it wasn't Ponyo, whatever his most recent one was. I don't remember exactly, but like, you can even see the direct link to Ponyo. Like, it's there, you know. It's so he has his own style for sure.
I'll definitely have to give more of his a watch. Like Mononoke is one I've been intending to get around to for ages now, and they just keep not doing it.
Honestly, you should just give the whole. I would highly recommend, except for Ponyo, every movie from Ghibli.
Let's watch Ponyo right now.
I'm not watching Ponyo again. But like, yeah, say, but Ghibli is I really like the studio, obviously. Big Ghibli guy. I mean, who isn't though? Mm-hmm. But, I mean, cause, and this is just a little fun fact. It has nothing to do with the podcast, what we're talking about at all, right? But
oh no.
So like, for my senior year of high school, my mom took me to Japan for a week. It was amazing, right? And so we went to the Ghibli Museum. Okay. It's a really cool place. It's so cool. Like,
I hope to go someday.
Yeah, if you're in Japan, like if you're going to Japan, if you're planning on going to Japan, whatever, I highly recommend the Ghibli Museum. Very cool place. Lots of history there. But at the doorway, at least when I was there, I don't know if they still do this, but they gave you like a film reel, like a short section of a film reel with like 5, I think, frames of one of the Ghibli movies. And as we've now established, I don't like Ponyo. And
did you get 5 frames of Ponyo?
Yes, I did, and I was so upset. Thankfully, my mom traded with me. Thankfully, so she took the Ponyo one, and I think, actually, I want to say I got Howls. I want to say I got that she got Howls, and so I traded with her for Howls. That sounds right. I'll have to dig up stuff though.
I was gonna say, do you still got it?
Yeah, I do still have it. I'll have to dig it out though.
Dude, find it like sometime next week. Put a pic on Twitter. I want to see this.
I will, yeah, for sure, dude. I will. Because it's really cool. It's really cool. But yeah, that's just a little fun fact there.
Definitely. To sort of like start getting into this, I want to talk a little bit about the aesthetic of this movie.
Okay.
Because there's something that, like, I theoretically should have known. I knew that there was the moving castle. I didn't remember it being like a literal walking castle. I thought it like flew or something.
Yeah.
So when I queued back in and it started right off with a mechanical walking tower, there were like airships, gunships, trains, steam cars. This is a steampunk movie. I did not realize.
That's where we're going. Okay. I was not expecting you to say that to me. I won't lie.
Dude, no. I don't know if you know this, but I'm pretty big into steampunk, and this is, I mean, it's not like hard into that aesthetic, but I would definitely say this is steampunk. And okay. I vibe with it. I didn't realize that's what I was getting into. I like it. Okay.
Interesting. Because when I was watching this, I mean, like every time I've watched this, it's always just been like, oh yeah, that's how Miyazaki designs planes and stuff.
Light magic steampunk. That's an important distinction. If I was making like a D&D setting, it'd be light magic steampunk.
Okay, cool. But like I would just call this like Miyazaki core, if you will.
Okay.
And I mean, like that's just the way I personally would see it. But like, that's interesting. I've never heard anybody describe this movie as like any form of steampunk, light magic, heavy, whatever. I don't know. I didn't know there's different genres of steampunk.
I would definitely call this a breed of steampunk.
All right. Okay. Interesting.
That's cool. Mean, it's steam-powered machinery, coal-powered machinery, steam and coal, whatever. Higher technology mechanical in Victorian England. Well, not Victorian England. Victorian-esque setting.
Yeah.
Just steampunk.
All right. Yeah. That's fair. Say I always just considered this like Miyazaki core. Like it's just his thing. Cause like I don't know if you've seen Laputa or Castle in the Sky.
The only other one that I have like legitimately seen recently enough to remember would be Spirited Away, and I don't feel like it was that.
So Castle in the Sky has similar kind of designs and stuff, and that's another one of the movies I really like it a lot. I love Laputa.
That might be why I remembered a flying castle. I may have gotten moving castle and flying castle in the sky confused at some point.
I don't think you did.
Like having,
no, I don't think so.
You don't think I did?
No, because you'll need to watch
Castle
in the Sky because it's different. Very different.
I haven't seen the other one. I've only heard of the other one, which is why.
Maybe that's why you got him confused. Yeah, there's the design of the castle. It's not exactly like a castle per se, if that makes sense.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna do some detective
work. Oh man, we're doing live detective work on air. On recording.
This movie, Castle in the Sky, is older than I am.
Yes, Castle in the Sky did come out way before this one.
It is Ghibli.
Yes, yeah, obviously I wouldn't.
I want to see images. Let me look at pictures. Ha!
Just go to the images tab on Google. It's not that difficult.
Yeah, I'm on it. Oh, it's the one with the lanky robot.
Yeah. Which, another fun fact, that robot is at the museum. It's like on the roof of the museum. It's just a statue, but it's still really cool.
Oh, that's awesome. And you're right, it's not really a castle. It's more like a walled city, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, no, I probably like heard the title and got them scrambled in my brain.
Though you should watch that movie as well. I mean, like I said, when I said watch all the Ghibli movies, like I mean watch all the Ghibli movies. Like even watch Ponyo. I'm in the minority of the people who dislike Ponyo. Most people like Ponyo. At least as far as I know. I actually haven't done a lot of research into it because I don't like it, so I'm not going to do research into it. But yeah, no, watch all of them. Highly recommend it, but Castle in the Sky is another classic. It's one that a lot of people know.
Someday I will get to it.
Hell yeah.
Huh. So do we want to kick into like the actual story here?
We probably should, yeah.
because like we've just rambled about the director and the aesthetic for like half an hour.
I mean, okay, to be fair though, it is Miyazaki, and
yeah,
like for those, I don't imagine there's very many people who don't know who Miyazaki is at this point, because he's like on that level, like he's up there with like Tarantino, you know, like everybody knows who he is, but like.
Yeah, and we've totally got the time. Like, we're covering significantly less content.
Yes.
Simply by right of it being a movie instead of 2 hours of animated film instead of, like, 6 hours of a series.
Right. And the other thing I did want to mention, too, before we really kick in, and I'm not going to say what I think about the movie at all, okay? But generally, what I've seen from public opinion, and... Also, I watched this with another friend of mine who had never seen this movie before, right? And he had seen kind of the same general opinion. There's a lot of people who really love this movie and like think it's like Ghibli's like best movie, right? And there's a lot of people who don't like this movie at all and like really dislike it and almost consider it like Ghibli's like worst. I would never consider it its worst. I don't know. I feel like those people have not seen Tales from Earthsea because that movie is boring as fuck. Excuse my French, but oh man, that's the only one I think don't, but also kind of watch it just to see that Ghibli isn't always perfect, but still. So like he had that same thing going in. And I think that's really interesting seeing that this seems to be, at least from like a general perspective, and like both of us are pretty invested in anime, right? Like the two of us that watched it. Yeah. Obviously I am. He is as well.
I was going to say, definitely you. I'm a little more of a dabbler than I'd like to admit. Yeah. I'm working on it. We're
getting you there. We're getting you there for sure. But yeah, no, he is also as well. And like both of us seeing this opinion of like love it or hate it was really interesting. Going into the movie, you know, because I don't feel like you get that too much from Ghibli movies, or like that's not honestly in general, just movies in general don't seem to be like that. Doesn't seem like the common thing, if that makes sense.
Okay.
You know, like it seems like if there's a movie that's like you love it or hate it, like you can say the name of the movie. Like I think one of those would probably be Rocky Horror Picture Show. You know,
I made the mistake of watching that 4 years ago.
I love that movie.
I couldn't jive with it. I'm sorry.
I also went with our mutual friend Tom to go watch it live in theaters for the first time.
Oh no!
That was the first time I saw it, and it was a fantastic experience. Loved it so much. Highly recommend watching it in theaters when you can.
I watched it with a handful of the people from my dorm in 371 freshman year, I'm pretty sure. And I remember watching, I'm just like, this is weird.
Yes, it is. Yep.
I mean, the music was a jive. I'll admit it had some absolute bops, but it was weird. It was strange. I couldn't.
All right.
Then again, I was still the like innocent potato man, fresh out of high school Christian kid when I showed up, and so I'm looking at this and I'm like, these people and their festivities, whatever. I don't know.
Okay. All right, dog.
I was weird as a freshman.
Yeah, I can tell. Oh,
I didn't know how to people. I didn't know how to be human.
All right. Well, let's get into the actual movie. We've talked a lot about the studio, about the director. Now let's talk about...
Hey, on the upside, we're not going to ramble about characters for 20 minutes because there's only like 5.
That's true. There is very few characters. And yeah, I mean, like, there's not a... It's weird for me, right? Like, it's weird. Like, we're getting in... I'm talking about the movie now. I just want to, like, make that clear. We're into the movie now. But, like, a lot of the characters, like, they have, like, their one thing. or like maybe like a couple things, and like that's kind of it. Outside of our main two, which is Sophie and Howl. Outside of them, everybody else is like...
How do you mean?
Okay, well, like... If we see, like with Calcifer, like, he doesn't, like... He is just kind of like a fire demon. Or devil, or whatever they call him. And, like...
He's still got, like, a personality and attitude. Yeah, he doesn't have...
Yeah. But, like, there's not a lot of depth to a lot of the characters, I guess. Which is fine. I'm not saying this is an issue. Okay? I don't want it to come off as...
Yeah, and I mean, like, Calcifer, for example, there's only so far you can really go with that.
But, like, with, like Markle doesn't really change, ever.
Markle's a good egg, but he is definitely a sidelines kind of character.
I mean, even the, like, Witch of the Wastes, like, she, like, yes, she changes, but, like, at that point, I would consider her a separate character. I would say that her character at the beginning and in the second half are completely different characters.
Definitely. And her character is the only one that I have, like, some actual issue with, and I'm not entirely sure how to articulate it, so I'm not going to go into that right now.
Well, I'm sure we'll work through it as we go along.
Definitely.
But so where would you like to start with this movie?
At the beginning, we pan over this, like, beautiful little semi-Victorian town. There's a train running through the center, and it's a nice town. I want to visit it. I want to hang out there.
Yeah. That's how I feel about a lot of Ghibli towns. Not to go into that tangent again.
And we go, let's talk about Ghibli. Is it Ghibli or Ghibli?
I think it's Ghibli. Because,
like, the GH would insinuate it'd be Ghibli.
I believe it's pronounced Ghibli, though. I don't know. I'm not gonna put any pronunciation thing in the description. I'm not gonna make you do that either.
We just walk up to Miyazaki one day.
But I did
be like, yo.
I did used to call it Ghibli, but then I heard somewhere that it is actually Ghibli, and it was, like, actually a reputable source. So I've used that since.
I usually call it Ghibli out of habit. Either way, we go into this chill little city, and we go into the hat shop, and we meet our main character, Sophie.
Yes.
Sophie Hatter. Blue dress. Sophie Hatter. She's a girl. She makes hats. She's cute.
Yeah.
And she makes hats.
Yes.
That's it.
That's her name.
And her family is like...
That's her name, and that's what she does. It's, like, very... That's... like, old school, you know?
That's where last names came from.
It is, yeah. It is.
I was about to go on a tangent. I'm like, I don't think I really want to throw my full name out there.
We've gone through a lot of tangents now already.
But no, all of her sisters? Question mark.
I think. Yeah,
Sophie adopted. That's the vibe I got.
I'm not 100% sure. It kind of seemed that way, but also I thought maybe they were kind of employees, and she was, like, possibly. The only real one, like the only real, like, daughter, if that makes sense.
That's possible, because it is clear that the fancy lady, whatever her name is like actually her mom.
Yeah, her name was Letty Hatter.
I thought Letty was the like the friend that she went to visit at work, or am I dumb?
Letty is her mom. That is who.
Wait, who is the person she visited at work in that one scene though, when she went to the, like, inn or whatever?
That's her mom.
Oh. They make hats. I'm gonna drink.
Yeah, take yourself a drink. Yeah, they make hats. And Sophie goes out to get some supplies, I believe.
Yeah, and her whole family was like, Howl's castle is in the background. He's trouble. He'll steal your heart.
Yeah. Because like, witches and wizards are kind of considered, like, dangerous. Like, they are a part of society, but they're also kind of dangerous.
Ones that aren't, like, working for a king.
Right. Ones that aren't working for the government are dangerous. Which sounds like some government propaganda to me.
Oh no.
But
Yeah. There's only two rogue witches and wizards that we hear of, and that's Howl is a wizard and the Witch of the Wastes is a witch. Those are the two that get talked about.
But like it's insinuated that there's others. But yeah, magic is real in this movie. Like that magic is a thing that happens.
Very.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sneeze.
Oh, bless you. Preemptively bless you.
Have to cut that out.
You will have to cut that out.
Hopefully I remember to cut that out. Apologies if I don't.
It wasn't too loud, at least for me. I don't know about the viewers. But yeah, so she goes out to get some supplies, and then how old would you say Sophie is? I'm just curious.
I'd say young 20s, I'd guess around our age.
Okay. Cuz see, I always kind of saw her as like 17 to 18. Right? Like she seemed like pretty young, but I can see that as well. But yeah, so she gets hit on by these two soldiers.
Two soldiers being creepy.
Yeah, they're being weird. And then one of my favorite lines when I was watching this with my friend, so like Howl shows up to like protect her, right? And he just goes, "Oh, another predator appears." It was so funny.
Did you watch the sub or the dub?
We watched the sub.
I don't remember that line.
No. That's what my friend said.
Oh,
that's what my friend said.
Okay.
Yes. No, that was not in this movie. No. Hal is shown as a protector, but he said that. It was so funny.
Yeah, no, he literally just shows up and takes her by the arm and is like, "Hey, don't," and then uses magic to make the guards just walk off. Yep. And the guards are like, "Duh."
Yeah, the guards are like, whoa, but they're still walking. It's great. I love that scene. And then he's like, but then also, here's the thing, right? Why did he take her with him? There was no need.
My guess is because there's blob men. The blob men would have seen them standing together and probably would have been like, "Oh, she's with him," and then taken them both, because the blob men don't seem bright.
I don't think that they have a brain. They kind of follow instinct. Yeah.
They're just goo.
They are just goo. I can see
that. But they're chasing after Howl.
Yeah.
And so they sort of just start hopping around. And it ends up with them like semi-flying, semi-walking on the air, jumping across rooftops. This is the sequence you remembered.
Yes. And what I consider to be probably the most famous sequence from the movie. Though there's one other sequence that is, I don't think it's as famous, but it's definitely up there. It's definitely up there from the movie. We'll get to that later.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I didn't remember it at all. All I remembered it. This is the other thing I should mention, by the way. I said I remembered the character being sad that she put water on Calcifer. I specifically, distinctly remembered the name Calcifer. It's the...
Oh.
I was about to say it's the only character's name I remembered, but no, I knew Howl as well. Obviously, he's in the title.
Obviously. Yeah.
But, like, I remembered hearing that line specifically.
Interesting. Okay.
But I didn't know the context of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
But Hal drops her off on like this balcony, which turns out to be her mom's work, and is like, just stay here until the blob men chill out, and then he flies off, and then they just kind of move along. She goes to talk to her mom.
Yeah,
Hal disappears for the next amount of time because he's not needed for this chunk of story.
And at that point, we don't know that's Hal. Though it can't.
Yeah, he's just some guy.
It can be inferred, but also, this is my
we know he's in the area right
7th to 8th time watching it. So maybe I just kind of like was like, oh, obviously that's Howl. But like,
I mean, I did not remember Hal's design. I did not know what he looked like. Okay. I completely assumed that was Howl when he showed up.
Okay.
Because like they'd already been talking about how he was in the area, and I'm like, wow, that is a very flashily designed character. That's probably the dude.
It makes sense, and it's not like the movie's really trying to hide it either, because we do see him very shortly after, but also like one of the promotional. It might be it's not. I don't think it's the Blu-ray cover, but like there is like a very prominent image of his face and her. I don't want to get into it yet. It is heavy spoilers for later. but like of those two together. So
Is it the one you've got on the background right now?
no, it's not. No. That's different. That is a heavy spoiler though, but not really. Also not really.
Kind of.
It just kind of shows characters.
I mean, it's from the end of the movie.
Yeah, it's from the end, but also like, it's not that heavy. Spoilery.
That's a good art.
It's very good art. Yes. But yeah, so we see that all happens. She talks to her mom, and then she's watching the shop late at night, and a customer comes in. This like large woman comes in, and she's like, "Oh, this place is so cheap. These hats are so cheap. This is such a cheap store." And so Sophie is kind of like, "Well, I think it's time for you to leave." And she like walks over the door and opens it, which I loved. I absolutely loved that bit.
She's just like, "Okay, Karen, go home."
I loved how like assertive she was in opening the door too, because like upon meeting her at first, you'd kind of think, "Oh, she's kind of a pushover," but she's not. She's not a pushover.
Yeah, because she doesn't even hang out with the rest of the family. She just stayed in her room, stitching hats.
She just stayed in her room. Even her mom's like, "Are you sure you want to keep doing this?" And she's like, "Yeah, well, my dad wanted to. My dad started this shop, and I want to continue it after him, and kind of stuff like that." But like, she don't fuck around. Like she does not mess with these patrons that disrespect her and her shop. And
I feel bad. I don't entirely remember the sequence. I think I was trying to get some other thing set up on the computer and just blanked for a moment.
Well, then so then it turns out that this woman is the Witch of the Waste, and she's like, "Oh, well, sucks to be you, doesn't it?" And like the blob men come in, and she's like, "Well, I'm gonna fly through you, and you can't tell anybody about this spell. Also, you're old as shit now."
Yeah, and turns her into the grandma from Spirited Away.
No, not even close. Not even close. That woman had a large head.
I mean, that is the first thing that I noticed when Sophie was like made old, is that she did end up with a significantly larger head than before. Not as extreme as the witch from Spirited Away, but still like
well, she has the same kind of nose.
Similarly inspired design.
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of Miyazaki's
it's almost like
style, I think, as well.
It's almost like the same person was in charge of it. Weird.
Yeah, weird, crazy. And so Sophie wakes up and she's old as shit, and then like her mom, and like she doesn't show up at work. Her mom's like, "Hey, what's wrong? Are you okay? Can I come in?" And she's like, "Nope, I've got a terrible cold." And
and her mom specifically is like, "You sound awful. You sound like you're 90 years old."
Yeah.
And we're all just like, "She said the thing."
Yeah. She said that's the thing from the thing. Yeah. She said that, and then so she leaves, and then Sophie's like, "All right, well, I'm about to head out." And so she leaves.
Yeah, she sneaks out of the store, sneaks out of the city. I don't think she had a specific plan. She's just like, "I can't stay here."
Yeah. Well, no, I think her plan was to go find Howl's castle.
Well, I'm not so sure about that, because she seemed pretty surprised when the Scarecrow led her there. There's a Scarecrow. When
That's true. She definitely yeah. No,
like,
you're right. She just wanted to go find seclusion, I think. And yeah, so she left. She finds a Scarecrow. Mm-hmm. Well, she finds this stick.
The Scarecrow?
This walking stick.
So,
wait, actually, before you say this, there's one important detail here. When she's walking out, and like she passes this like one house, it's kind of like on the outskirts of town, and like they're kind of like, "Hey, don't go out to the wastes. There's nothing out there but like the witches and wizards. Like nothing good is out there," kind of thing. And she's like, "Oh, I'll be fine." And we find out that she had lied to them and said that her younger sister lives out there, kind of thing, which is like, so clearly it shows that she doesn't really she doesn't fear these witches and wizards, I guess.
Not really. Not that much.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Well, the biggest risk they establish is that Howl steals the hearts of the beautiful, and she's like, "I'm freaking 90 years old now. Ain't nobody wants this."
Well, she also never considered herself beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah. Which I will say, I do want to say though, I don't want to be like rude or anything, but the way that she was designed, as per a Ghibli movie, yes, she is still very pretty, but I don't think I would call her like conventionally pretty.
I think the vibe was intentionally to make her like super plain. I don't know.
Right, like she's plain. I think also like she has these like thicker eyebrows, which are like, I think generally seen as not beautiful, you know, because like people will get their eyebrows thinned and stuff.
I don't know, man. Whatever works for the plot. I don't agree with it.
But like, no, she's still pretty, but also like not conventionally pretty, and like and like all of her like sisters or like coworkers or whatever they are like, I even like her mom, I would say is like conventionally more attractive by beauty standards, which are dumb as hell.
I found her so off-putting. I thought her mom was super off-putting.
Oh, really? Oh, no,
she gave me spooky vibes.
Oh, interesting. I did not get that at all. No, I mean, I don't think there's like, I think it's dumb, but like by conventional beauty standards, you know, that's what I would put.
I don't know. But she goes up. So what I was going to say is I had some notes. You know, I like to write like very, very brief, like 5-word or less descriptions of characters.
Yes.
3-word or less usually.
Yeah.
So for example, Sophie, Maine, Howl, Wizard Man. The 2 notes that I'm most proud of: Witch of the Waste, Big Mean.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
And Turnip Scarecrow, the best boy.
Nice.
I love the Scarecrow. Yeah. He's like, he doesn't have any speaking lines until literally the last like minute of the movie.
Yeah.
All he does is hop around and do things, and I love him. He's amazing.
Yes, he's amazing. His name is Turnip because he's a turnip scarecrow, which is the name that Sophie gives him. But apparently, according to AnyList, his name is Justin. I'm sorry? Where did that name come from?
Well, I mean, that it may have been mentioned in passing. I mean, it makes sense that it's like a canon name because of what we find out at the end, which, you know what, I will actually save for the end.
Poggers, dude. Oh, sorry. That's illegal now. Not allowed to
banned.
pog.
I'm banning you now.
I'm banned. Sorry. Bye, guys. I'm banned.
I want to talk about the poggers, but we can't. Not here.
Yeah, not here. Yeah. Well, I don't think I'd never remember them saying his name.
I don't think so.
But
either.
like, yeah, his name's
It
Turnip.
may have just been like externally established.
Because his head is a turnip. His head is made of a turnip, which Sophie specifically says, "That's disgusting. I hate turnips."
Yeah, it's so rude, honestly.
And he brings her a cane. And it's like, here's a cane.
She rescued him from the bush, and he comes to repay the deal.
Because she thinks he'll be like a perfect walking stick. Mm-hmm. And he's, oh, here's a cane.
And it turns out to be a whole scarecrow.
Yeah. And then she's like, oh, you want this cane? All right. Well, how about you find me a house to stay the night in? And then he's like, then he runs off, or hops off, I guess.
That seemed really dickish to me. And then she's just like, oh, I see, you get more cunning with age. And I'm like, no, that was just kind of a dick move.
A little bit,
I don't know, that's the vibe I got.
Yeah, no, just like a little bit, but also like, she just thought it was some enchanted object.
Instead of some guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, she keeps wandering off. She keeps walking up the mountain. The Scarecrow comes back, and she's like, oh, it's Mr. Turnip. What are you doing here? And then the castle is behind him.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, you brought me a house. And yeah.
And it turns out this is the castle, the one from the title.
The one in the sky. No, wait, wrong movie. Sorry. This is the moving
Shut
castle. This is Howl's moving. I was not making fun of you right there. I want to say that was not a jab at you. I was making a joke that there's too many castle movies that Ghibli made, even though I think there's only 2. Too many.
Castle with Nathan Fillion.
Too many with Castle in the Sky. Shut up. Nope, we're not doing that. Not that one. Bad joke.
Wait. What? I loved that show.
Yeah, so did my mom.
Yeah, so did my mom. I watched it with her. Well, she's able to hitch a ride into the castle, and she's like, "Thank you, Turnip. You're a good turnip." And she goes to light a fire, and the fire starts talking to her, and she's like, "Oh, I shouldn't have eaten the mushrooms."
Wait, what?
Sorry, I tried to make a joke. I was the only one who thought it was funny.
Wait, what were you referencing something? Or were you just making a joke about how you get high off of mushrooms?
I was making a drug joke.
I also
Thank you. I'm a genius of comedy.
I also love drugs, yes.
But
well, okay, my first instinct there was like, oh, he's making an Alice in Wonderland joke. Wait, that doesn't work.
You can take it that way.
Because the mushrooms only make you bigger and smaller. But then I was like, wait, it kind of does work because Alice in Wonderland is just a drug trip.
Just straight up.
I have read the book.
It is.
I've watched the original Disney movie, which is very good. I love that movie so much. Highly recommend it.
Definitely.
But yeah. I love Alice in Wonderland. So
I know. Basically,
yeah, good joke.
The fire is named Calcifer, and he's like, "I'm a demon. I've been bound here by Howl. Free me from Howl. I'll lift your curse." And then she falls asleep.
Yeah. Well, then she's like, no. I love she's like, okay, so is that a promise? And he's like, demons don't make promises. And she's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep then.
And she just taps out because she's a tired old lady.
Though they do make a bargain, like a semi-bargain. Like she's like, okay, if I do this for you, you have to do this for me, kind of thing. But which does come up later in the movie, which is great. I like it a lot. But yeah, so she falls asleep there, and then she wakes up to the door. The door is getting. There's a knock at the door.
Someone's knocking on the door, and this kid comes down the stairs.
Yeah. Which
she wakes up to the knocking, hears the kid come down the stairs, and tries to pretend to be asleep again. And the kid just pays barely any mind. It's just like, when did you get here? And then goes to answer the door. But first, he has magic that I wish I had.
Yeah.
He just waves his hand over his face, and suddenly just boom, full wizard beard.
Okay, well,
I wish I could do that.
Well, I believe it's the cloak that has the magic in it. Because he only has it when the hood is up.
I feel like he has it at least once when the hood's down,
Nope.
but I could be wrong.
Never when the hood is down. Always when the hood is up. And I believe it's enchanted by Howl, whose castle they're in, obviously. I
wish that was something I could do, though. I want to just get, boom, full beard.
Yeah.
Better than what I've got now. That's Markle.
That is Markle.
He's good.
He's great, yeah.
There's a knock on the door, and Calcifer's like, "It's this door," and he opens it and does some magic trading. And since he's gonna be downstairs, Sophie wakes up and starts doing things, and it's just like, "Oh, what's all this then?" And they just sort of talk or whatever.
Yep.
He closes the door, knock on the door. He says the same door, and he opens it. Does some business. But then there's something else that happens. I think someone knocks again. I think this one was how I don't remember.
Somebody knocks again, and he twists the lock.
Because Calcifer says it's a different door.
Yes.
He names a different door.
Yeah. And so it's a different door, and it's this little girl who wants some magic. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Oh, the usual." He's a bartender or something.
Pretty much, magical bartender.
Yeah.
She was looking for something to make ships sail better.
Yep. And because
that's the port.
And there's a bunch of things that happen like that, and then eventually, like there's no more knocks at the door, and he's like, all right, finally. And then he goes to the like cabinet or whatever. He's like, breakfast, and he pulls out a slice or a thing of cheese and a thing of bread, and he's like, breakfast time, let's go. And then Sophie's like, wait a minute, that's all you're eating for breakfast? That's not a very good breakfast.
Let me cook something.
Yep.
And he's like, nope,
And then,
Calcifer won't do it. And Calcifer says, I
then
won't
she
do it.
finds like bacon and eggs, which also like, okay, maybe I don't know a lot about bacon, but does that just like, if you just leave that sitting out, does that just stay good?
I mean, maybe if it was cured.
That's possible, yeah.
Either way, they're just like, you can't cook on Calcifer, it won't work.
Yep.
Calcifer says no. And then she's just like, yeah, you do. And he says, okay.
Yeah, well, she's like, this is where it comes back. She's like, well, do you want me to tell Howl about our bargain? And he's like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I'll cook. Okay.
Look, man, I'm summarizing for sake of time.
I just wanted to, I liked that bit. I liked that bit a lot.
Howl ends up coming back, and he's like, wow, Calcifer's really obedient. And Calcifer's just like, she bullied me.
Yep. And then Howl's like, all right, well, let me finish breakfast. And so he
cooks it up for all of them.
Yep, he cooks it for all of them and stuff. And then he's like, hey, what's in your pocket? And she...
Oh, also, the inside of the house looks like crap. I forgot to mention.
Yeah,
that.
It's really dirty.
Junk.
It's really dirty and like, yeah.
It looks like my room.
And so yeah, we get, and so then Howl's like, who are you? And this is one of my favorite bits from the movie, actually, because Howl's like, who are you? And Sophie's like, oh, I'm your new housekeeper. And he's like, wait, who hired you? And she's like, I hired myself. Don't you see this place?
Boy,
like,
I wish that's how job applications worked. You just walk into a building, you're like, I work here now.
I said that exact same thing when I was watching this movie. Yeah. Yeah, so they're eating breakfast, and like she pulls out this piece of paper from her pocket that Howl knew was there. It falls on the table and burns into the table, and Howl's like, oh no, that's the Witch of the Waste thing. And erases the mark, but not the spell. And then he has to do some work. And feeds Calcifer the rest of his food.
About that, there was a shot that I was very fond of when Howl goes to cook. I thought this added a little bit of unnecessary but good character. Whenever he like cracks an egg into the pan, he chucks the eggshells into Calcifer's mouth. And I'm just like, okay, that's really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that dynamic, it doesn't matter for the story, but it's good, just baseline character. I like it.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm not a movie reviewer, okay?
No, it's and this is like another one of those. This is the other scene I mentioned when I said there's two really famous scenes from this movie. This is the other one because the shot of him cooking the eggs and bacon comes up a lot on like anime food porn Twitter accounts and stuff because like when
take your word on it.
The bots that are like, oh, anime food looks so good, dude. This is a very okay. Well, this is a famous example of it. But yeah, no, it adds like a lot like to their relationship, to Howl and Calcifer's relationship.
The only anime food anything that I care about is how to make ramen: noodles, broth, an egg, and a gun.
Oh man, you need to watch some more cooking anime like Kofuku Graffiti. That's food porn anime right there, baby.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I have Food Wars in my watch list.
That is a food anime, yes, that is one.
That is an anime.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. Before we go any further, though, it's about the halfway point. I think it's time for a break.
That's probably a good go for it, and I'd say we're about a third of the way through the movie.
Yeah,
but we also did a lot of establishing, so we're probably on course.
Yeah, I think so. So we'll be back real quick right after this quick break. Yeah.
With the second half of Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah.
We'll see you there.
We'll see you there. Bye. Welcome back to the second half of A Shot of Weeb, episode 22.
22.
22. And where we're talking about Howl's Moving Castle. Now, before we get any farther, it's time to take a drink.
Well, that was
or
really
shot
fast.
for me.
Shot for
oh,
you.
Look, man.
A long sip for me.
All right, kampai.
Kampai. I'd already started.
I hate rum.
Yeah, you drink it.
I don't have anything else.
Unlike me, you have a car.
All the other alcohol in the house is somebody else's. And unlike me, you have a job.
You have a job, you freaking editor. You have a job I want.
Okay, look.
I need to start chasing down gigs really badly.
Yeah,
and then I keep not doing it.
I do love editing. It's a fantastic job. Okay.
I know. I want to do it. But I'm lazy and haven't looked into it. Anyway, where did we leave off? We
I don't
saw
remember.
the war. Well, no, we didn't. We're right before we see the war. Because we hear that there's a war.
Right before we see the war, yeah.
But we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, so this is a big thing in this movie. It has a very big anti-war message.
Mm-hmm. Which I understand this is not the only Ghibli movie to carry that, yes?
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean,
yeah.
Grave of the Fireflies.
That's what I was going to say, Fireflies, because I remember...
Yeah. Oh, also, we forgot a big movie that's Ghibli.
Oh, yeah?
That would be the most recognizable, possibly.
Oh, the Bus Cat.
Which is My Neighbor Totoro, which is literally the logo for Ghibli.
Yeah, I forgot about Totoro.
That doesn't have an anti-war message. That has like a nature message, like save the earth kind of message.
Yeah, which I feel like that's the other big one because Spirited Away has that.
Yeah.
And Mononoke, doesn't it? I don't know. I've not watched it. But
Yeah,
that's what I understand
does,
it
I
to
believe, as well. Yeah, from what I remember. Yeah, but this has a big anti-war message, and they show a lot. Like, every time I watch this movie, I always forget until I see the first shot of the war that there is a war happening.
They mentioned it in passing before that.
Yeah, I know, but like I never think about it until I rewatch the movie. Is what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Like I always like the scenes I remember, like the things I remember about this movie. It's like the turnip, the scarecrow. Like I remember the whole like she gets old thing. I remember like Calcifer
and the rooftop.
But, like, I don't remember the war.
Yeah,
which I feel like maybe that says a bit about the movie.
Well, the war doesn't really become like a active like running thing until the second half. I nearly said second act and then realized I don't actually know what that means.
Well, I mean, what I mean by that though is like I don't know if it like because it's clearly trying to be anti-war, have that message, you know. But I think because I mean, like I don't remember it ever. I think it kind of fails on that.
It has that as a message, but I don't think it's the core focus of the film. Until, again, at the very end when they're, like, in a city being bombed. Because, I mean, that's going to be a bit of a sore spot in, like, Japanese history, obviously. So, like, that's a very impactful moment for anyone watching it, but I assume, like, extra, so...
I would say, I don't know, I mean, like, okay, I'm not a history buff. Okay, let me make that clear. But I think it might be even more impactful for, like, British, because they were the ones who were, like, carpet bombed, right?
That's fair, and this is, like, a vaguely...
Really carpet bombed. It was more the nuke, the two nukes, I guess, that they were struck with. Whereas, like, there's, like, the bombing of London and stuff like that.
Yeah, those are going to be much touchier subjects for the other two countries than us, because, I mean, I mean, it still was like a threat, and it still happened in the U.S., but it wasn't like as like present.
We still had Pearl Harbor, but like even that seems kind of distant because it is a state that is not that's not in the contiguous United States.
Yeah, it wasn't like a present and immediate threat as it was for the other places.
Right, yeah.
Oh, that got dark fast. Where were we?
Yeah. We were talking about like the whole war thing.
We find out that Calcifer and Howl are connected. I don't know if it's specified at this point, but we find out they're connected, and that if one dies, the other would too.
Yeah.
Or more accurately, that if Calcifer died, Howl would die.
Yeah. That's the way it's said. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think Calcifer would also die.
Possibly, because he was still bound. We find out that Howl can turn into a bird.
Yes.
Because he
comes in late one night.
Yeah, and this is when we get the first shots of the war. So he's flying over the battlefield and fighting some goop birds.
And at this point, it's pretty dark. Like, we don't see a lot of detail.
Yeah, no, it's like at night, all we see is like the birds and Howl and the fire.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's about it.
That's very intentional. It's very impactful. Like, it is a huge tone shift from the other places in the anime, in the show, in the movie.
Yeah. Otherwise, like, it's a very colorful, as with Ghibli stuff, it's very colorful. Semi-lighthearted, I would say.
Yeah, whereas this is dark and discordant.
Yeah. It's a very, like, major shift in the tone.
I have a note that the Turtle Man comes back around here. I don't remember what he does here. Probably some Best Boy stuff. This might be the laundry sequence.
Oh. This is when, so Sophie's cleaning the entire place.
Mm-hmm. And
then, like, they find, or Markle's like, hey, there's a stick stuck in the side of our thing.
Like in the gears, yeah.
That's when Turnip comes back. They pull him out, and then he, like, kind of hops off.
Yeah, he's the best boy.
Okay, that's cool. I wouldn't call him best boy, but sure.
They go to the port. No, yes. They go to the port town. We see an ironclad start to sink, and then a plane drops a bunch of papers. We don't get to see what's on the papers. They're like, it's enemy propaganda, don't touch it, and it just isn't addressed.
Yeah. Well, I think we can assume that it just was enemy propaganda.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we needed to see it. But what we do see, I don't remember if it's exactly this scene. No, it's not this scene, because it's when she's, like, walking through all the different doors. There's just a soldier who's, like, selling newspapers or whatever. And all the newspapers say on them is war. And I thought that was so funny. Because that's the only thing you can read. Everything else is kind of like just like the like squiggly lines.
I mean, I wouldn't say that's funny. I'd say that just gets the point across with keeping it simple.
But like it's just like, imagine like you're just walking around town, right? And you see a guy selling newspapers, and all the headline is war.
Well,
I don't know.
Some real shit's gone down. I need to read it.
I would kind of laugh. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But, like, yeah.
And then, and Sophie's cleaning the house at this point. And Hal, like, bursts downstairs. Oh, Sophie escaped from a blog man. And they go into the house. Merkel and Sophie go into the house. And then Hal, like, bursts downstairs, like, sobbing. Everything's been rearranged, and it made his hair... I wrote down Howl is now a ginger.
Yeah. And he's like, this is the worst. My life is over. I'm ginger.
Well, no, because he starts crying like, yeah, like, if I can't be beautiful, why should I live? And then spooky shadow demons nearly destroy the entire castle that he, like, summons by accident.
Yeah, he summons, because not even by accident. He's summoning the darkness demon, I believe is what it's called.
Something like that.
And that's when he kind of says that, and then Sophie's like, oh, really? I've never been beautiful once in my entire life. and kind of storms off.
Yeah, she goes outside and is like super distraught, and the turnip shows up with an umbrella. The turnip man is the best man. Fight me.
And then eventually, like, Markle comes back out. Also, this is important to note. After when Sophie became old, she was hunched over.
Yes.
And when she walks outside, she's standing upright.
Yeah, and her head is smaller.
That's important. It's not like that much smaller. It's just like
It's not as big as the grandma head.
You could tell she's younger.
Definitely. And by younger we mean like 60, but
yeah, but still she's younger.
Yeah.
And then Markle comes out and is like, "Hey, we need your help because like it looks like he's about to die." And she walks back in. He's all covered in goo.
He slimed himself.
Calcifer's like, "Wait, stop! The slime is I'm gonna get slimed," and that's gonna kill him.
Hal should work for Nickelodeon.
Yeah. And then they're like, and then she's like, "Okay, Markle, go turn on the hot water. Get the bath ready. We're giving him a bath." And so she takes him upstairs. His towel falls off, and she's like, "Oh, I can't look at that."
Starts just like looking at the ceiling.
Yeah, really funny. Yeah, we get that whole sequence, and then what happened?
His hair turns black next.
No, his hair turned black before that. Because she's like, your new hair color looks really nice. It's like a dark navy black.
Can he just magic it to something else? Like,
yeah, but I don't think he knows where she rearranged all the spells.
Nah, whatever.
So he doesn't know what to do. But like also, I think he kind of comes to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
So the next sequence, this is like a big change. Howl is like, okay, we got a plan. Sophie, pretend to be my mom and tell the king I don't want to work for him. Just tell him that I'm...
the king has asked him to have a audience. That's the right word. Yes, that is the correct word.
Yeah, and he's just like, tell him I'm useless. I'm a good-for-nothing, lazy teenager. I'm sending my mom to make excuses. Just go get me out of this. I'll go on my way disguised, he says. He'll follow along in disguise.
And she's like, "Aight, B." And she heads out. And then I really liked when she's getting ready to head out, she puts her hat on, and he's like, "Wait, you're really going to wear that hat? But I made your clothes so pretty." Like, clearly he has a different definition of what pretty is, of what beautiful is to hers, which is like,
that makes sense.
Cool, chill. That's how that word works. Yeah, like everybody finds something else pretty. Like there's some like quote unquote universal constants when it comes to pretty, but also like not really.
Yeah,
you know.
But so she goes off to go to the castle. She bumps into the Witch of the Waste. The witch is being carried by her bloodman because she has one of those like carry boxes, whatever they're called.
Like the Egyptians used to use.
You're not thinking.
Maybe they didn't use them. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like that was more of an Asian thing.
Roman. It's a Roman thing.
You're not thinking chariots, are you? Because that's different.
I'm not thinking chariots. I know what a chariot is. That's done by a horse. This is not a horse. These are...
You've also drunk a lot of rum. I thought you might have been a little mixed up there.
I've had a lot to drink. Maybe I'm not. Oh, also, while I remember, drink responsibly.
Yes,
we are.
I'm
fine. I know my limits. I'm sticking to my limits.
I definitely am today. I'm doing a lot less than I normally would for a podcast episode. Yeah. Well, actually, I don't know. I think it's more... I'm doing about the same amount, but it's like spread out because this mixed drink is probably about 2, maybe 3 shots worth.
Probably, yeah. I'm doing the same amount I always do. So, but like, we just want to give that. What's it called? What's that word? You don't remember the word. Oh man, what's that word called? Like, we want to give the.
Yeah.
You know, like when you like tell it's like warning, but it's not warning. It's like similar to warning.
Oh, I get where you're getting, and I get where you're getting, and I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page now. Okay, so neither of us can remember, but we know our limits, which you like. Just follow your limits. When you feel like you've had enough, you've had enough.
My next note is heavy dog stare race.
Yeah. So she runs into the Witch of the Waste, and then like the blob men like melt
because there's anti-transportation magic.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, sorry, you can't use a car or any transportation. You have to walk up the stairs.
And it's a lot of stairs.
It's a ton of stairs, but we get a nice little Rocky moment, right, from Rocky 1. Have you seen that movie?
I've not, but I know what you're talking about. It's
a very good movie. I love that movie. But we get a nice little Rocky moment, and like, the Witch of the Waste had sped ahead because of her little chariot, right? But like the Sophie had like just been walking the whole way.
Sophie is faster on foot.
Dog. Also, we should mention the dog.
That's what I was about to get
to. Okay. So you could go ahead. Go ahead with the dog.
The dog shows up, and she's just like, "Oh, Hal, you picked a stupid disguise." And the dog goes, "Woof," and she's like, "Whatever." And they go to get to the stairs.
She asks him if he's Howl. If he's Howl, and then the dog says, "Woof."
The dog like snuffles or whatever.
Yeah. Because I think it's the same dog. I think it's a similar situation like from Grown Ups, if you remember that movie.
I've tried not to.
I love that movie so much. It's a similar situation where the dog has its vocal cords cut, so it can't bark anymore. So it can only make like air, like it go like. God, I'm so okay.
Yeah, so the witch is like trying to walk up the stairs, but she's just like too fat, and it's like very uncomfortable. There's a lot of sweat. Sophie would be doing it a lot faster.
She's also very old.
Yeah, Sophie would be doing it a lot faster. She can handle the stairs faster, but she's trying to carry this fat ass dog up the stairs.
Very old dog as well.
Yeah, the dog can't stairs. The dog cannot stairs. And they finally get up to the top, and Sophie's just like, "Hi, you can make it, witch lady. Don't worry." And she looks to an attendant and is like, "Why don't you help her up the stairs?" And he's like, "Nope, we can't. It's illegal."
Yep, it is illegal to help people get to the their audience with the king or queen or whoever.
Mm-hmm. They both finally make it up there, and they enter at the same time. And they're like...
Only because Sophie waits.
Yeah, Sophie waits for the witch. Because reasons.
Yeah.
And they go in at the same time, and the witch is just... They see a chair. There's a single chair in the antechamber, and the witch is like, "Dibs, got it," scurries over and sits down. The dog scurries off around a corner. Sophie follows the dog, and then a young boy, who I presumed was the dog transformed into the boy, as Howl, is what I thought.
That's... Okay, I will say... I do remember thinking like, "Oh, that's Howl."
Yeah, I thought that was the implication.
Because again, like we've seen, so like the boy has like bangs, like straight cut bangs, and then his hair is like kind of like around here.
It's the same
right?
blonde
like,
as Howl's.
It's the same blonde as Howl. It's like around here, and it's like straight cut, and we've seen that hairstyle on Howl before.
Yeah. Oh, and the dog was blonde too, by the way.
The dog had like a little like patch on the top of his head that was blonde, which like it was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's Howl, obviously, yeah.
But then they flip a switch and a bunch of lights come on around the witch and spin around her, and it like weakens her.
And these like people shaped figures show up and start dancing around.
Yeah, and they look like the star figures that we see later in the show, later in the movie. Meanwhile, Sophie goes straight to. Not the king. She doesn't get an audience with the king. She gets an audience with Suleiman, the king's witch.
Yeah, which she's like... I know she's the Minister of Defense, and she's something else, and I can't remember what the other thing was.
I don't recall.
She was too. I should have taken notes. I didn't take any notes for this episode. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Shame on you.
Yeah, it's not like I do this normally. But like, yeah, she has two positions under the king. I know specifically because she mentions them later. But yeah, she's like the Minister of Defense and stuff. But yeah, so she gets taken to her. And then we see
the dog scurries past her and sits next to Suleiman and is like, "Oh, my dog's with you. That's cool."
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, this is my old faithful companion," and Sophie's like, "Oh, that wasn't Howl."
This is awkward.
Yeah, and Suleiman's like, "Okay, so I see you're Howl's mother." Mm-hmm. That's what I've come to understand, which like is interesting, right? Because the reason I say that is because she should know him as Pendragon, because he had two different names that he went as under this like king, majesty, whatever, under this like government, let's say. One of them was Pendragon. I don't remember the other.
I think they were under different kingdoms, but I do remember one of them was Pendragon and one of them was something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was Pendragon because she kept saying, "Oh, I'm Pendragon's mother. I'm Mrs. Pendragon."
Yeah, and I specifically remember Pendragon. You know where that's from, right?
I should.
Pendragon is Arthurian legend. Arthur Pendragon.
That's right. Yes. Yeah, that's right.
I would have brought that up for the audience anyway, but I wanted to make sure you knew it.
I just didn't want to embarrass myself because I was pretty sure that was it. But also, if I got that wrong,
you would have been ruthlessly mocked.
I would have been roasted in the comments, bro. I don't want that.
Dude, we haven't gotten a comment in like 4 videos. I think you're safe.
Leave us comments if you like the episode, or if you don't, let us know. Give us comments. Give us feedback.
Oh, you should have said that. We're gonna get a comment where all it says is just like, "You're dumb."
Hey, that I am. That I do be. I do be that.
Only dumb brains allowed in this household.
That's true. Only dumb brains. Where were we?
They're talking to Suleiman.
That's right.
And I'm going to skim over a lot of the conversation, but Sophie's basically like, he doesn't want to work for you. He's lazy. And she's just like, that's weird. He was so good when he was little because he was my student. But then he made a deal with the devil, which we know to be Calcifer.
Yes.
And now he has no heart. Be wary of him. He's dangerous. And then the king walks in. The king lands on like one of those little personal flying machines. There's like these tiny little personal airplanes.
Yeah, which have like wings to them. Like it's the same with like the rest of the flying, like the planes and stuff. They all have like wings that flap.
Yeah,
which I think is great.
It's steam-powered mechanical. It's the mechanical flapping instead of like propellers.
Which also, it doesn't work in real life.
No, but it fits the steampunk aesthetic, okay?
Look, I'm not saying it's not cool. I'm just saying it doesn't work.
But he comes in, he starts talking all flowery, and Suleiman's like, "Oh, wow, you're talking very eloquent today." And then the king walks in again from a different doorway and looks at the other king. "Ah, Suleiman, good joker with the clone of me. Have fun," and walks off.
Yeah, he like hands her something. I don't remember what it was, but yeah. And then she's like, "Oh, I knew all along. I saw through your disguise, Howl."
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, like
I love the design of the king, by the way. He looks so good.
Wait, what? I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
I like the design of the king. He has like this, like a military hat with goggles and like this massive twirl mustache. It's so good.
Oh, okay, I want to say. Okay, so when I was watching this with my friend lives in a different country, right? Doesn't live in the United States.
Okay.
And he's a big history guy. But he said when we were watching it, he was like, "Oh, I know who this king is based off of," which like I still would agree with. And it looks like he sent me an image too, and it does look like the first king of Norway, like the way he's dressed and all that, like the mustache and everything. You should look him up after.
What's the king's name?
I don't know his name. Don't ask me, bro.
Look, man. I'm looking this up now because I think I'll know who you're talking about actually. Because
There's a reason that I have a character list always pulled up when we record these episodes. Look, I have forgotten my friends' names before. Okay? That's how bad I am with names.
I think you were confused about what king you're talking about.
What do you mean? I got it sent a picture and it looked like him.
I just googled the first king of Norway and this does not look anything like it.
Look, okay. Alright. Well, look, maybe I might be confused. If so, I'll send you an image of what he sent me.
Yeah, there's a couple of figures that I was curious if you were talking about. Because, like, I've played several Civ games. That's not exactly a good knowledge base to come off of, but it's something. So I thought there was a chance I'd know it.
Okay. Okay. You might need to cut this out. Because I don't want to, like, call him out here.
Jeez,
that's what I'll send you the picture that I was sent.
Yeah, just go ahead and send it.
Afterwards.
Send it. Oh, after?
I'll send it after because I'm not in a state right now to work my computer.
Alrighty. Well, either way, let's just continue. The king looks good. I like him.
The king has a really cool design. I really do like his big mustache. I like when kings have like this like really thick mustache.
I like when people have a really thick mustache. I'm jelly.
Yes.
I can't do that.
Are cool. Mustaches are cool, and we need to bring them back.
Do you remember the guy at our college that had like a freaking huge like curl mustache?
Yes, I do.
Dude. Yeah, I don't know who you are, but if by some miracle you're watching this podcast, high five.
Yes. Yeah, man. Right here. Up. Right there.
Good job, wannabe PewDiePie.
Profist, dude.
Oh, so I'm going to skim over most of the conversation because it's not, like, super pressing. But, like, there's a bit where Sophie just, like, goes on and on about Howl for a moment. Prompts Suleiman to say that you're in love with him or whatever. She, like, fully de-ages during the sequence. I'm pretty sure she even goes back to black hair during this bit.
No, she never goes back to... She always keeps the gray hair.
No, I'm confident... If not here, she goes black hair at least one other time when she was, like, asleep. Or maybe it was a dream sequence.
Okay, so that's the thing. When she's asleep, she goes back to her proper age. That's the only time her hair changes from gray, though.
I could have sworn she reached black hair in this conversation, but she at least de-ages a lot.
She goes back to her proper age, but she keeps the gray hair. Because that's how we know that the spell hasn't been broken.
But then, I don't know, Suleiman tries to cast magic on them. I dropped my fidget item. Suleiman casts magic on them, and they end up running away. They're in, like, this weird hallucination area, and they just bash through the ceiling and fly away on one of those little airplanes. Howl splits off to do his own thing and distract the forces, while Sophie and the dog and the witch, because the witch comes back, they, like, brought the witch of the wastes to her proper age, which is, like, 150 or something. She's just this ancient.
Like 5,000 years old. She's so old.
She's this ancient senile lady.
Yes.
And sorry for the awkward cut here, I had to attend to something. Where exactly did we leave off? They were flying away from the castle, yeah? They were flying away from the Suleiman?
Yeah, they were flying away from the castle, yeah. They were flying away from Suleiman, I believe is her name?
Yeah, Suleiman. It's not spelled like the fancy man. It's one letter off. But yeah, no, they're flying away, and Howl is like, here, Sophie, fly the machine, bring Grandma. I'm just going to call the witch the waste Grandma from this point, because that's what they call her.
That's fine, yeah.
Bring Grandma and the dog home, follow the ring, it'll lead you to Calcifer.
Yes.
And he zips off to his own stuff.
And he makes them invisible for 5 minutes.
Yeah, so they can escape.
Yeah. Which is a long time, I want to say.
Honestly.
Like, that seems like a really long time. Like, you can get, like, invisible. I would imagine, like, 30 seconds would be plenty of time to get away. Especially when he creates a double.
Mm-hmm. I'd say 5 minutes is probably safe because, like, you don't know exactly how far vision they have, and I'm assuming, given the inefficiencies of this kind of airplane, I'm going to assume kind of like car speeds, like modern car speeds.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But even then, like, that's a long time. Like, 5 minutes, if you're on the interstate, okay, we're going back to America here. This is like America. Bit, because, like, 60 miles an hour in 5 minutes, you can get through like 6 miles. And most interstates are faster than that.
That math is questionable, but close enough.
Yeah. But also they have the dog with them, which we have confirmed is a spy.
Yeah, so I don't know why they brought the dog. That's kind of a not smart move.
Well, they didn't bring the dog. They didn't mean to.
Oh, yeah,
the
because
dog
she's
just kind of hopped on. Because even Sophie's like, oh, well, I can't throw you off now.
Yeah, and they didn't even, like, intentionally bring Grandma with. She grabbed onto Sophie's leg.
Yeah.
But, like, we can't just chuck him off the airplane. So they drive him back home. And she finally catches up to the castle, and Markle's like, yo, what y'all doing? And she's like, we crashing, yo.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know how to land. And the castle eats them.
The castle eats them because the front of the castle... Did you ever play... You're not as much a gamer as I am. Did you ever play an indie title called Machinarium by any chance?
I've never... Explain it, and I might have.
It's a point-and-click game where you play as a robot through a little robot city. I don't remember entirely what the story is.
Okay, I have not played it, but I know what you're talking about, and I want to play it. I want to play it so bad.
I recommend. It's cheap and short, I'm pretty sure. It's at least short.
Yeah, I imagine.
But, like, honestly, the design of the characters, like specifically Yosef from Machinarium and the robots from Machinarium, I get the same kind of, like, design energy from them as I do from the castle. It's like when the castle just opens up and just like, no.
Yep.
All I can picture is like Yosef eating something.
It's almost like I would describe the castle. Okay, this is going to sound weird. So like hang with me for a minute, okay?
Okay.
But it's like, it's organic. It's like organic machinery.
Yeah. No, I totally get what you're saying. It is meant to look like a creature. I think it's supposed to be frog-like.
Yeah, I would say frog-like as well. Yeah, with the way the eyes move, I would say like frog-like or chameleon.
Chameleon's probably a little better because that would adjust for the legs as well.
Yeah, either of those two, though, like...
Reptilian.
Definitely... reptilian, the amphibious, one of those two. Like, machine, which is like... Again, it kind of like parallels with the like planes and stuff, like because the planes are using like wings, like the birds would use, like they flap instead of like the wings that we have on planes in real life that are just kind of stiff metal.
Yeah, they're all meant to be, despite mechanical, they're still supposed to be at least somewhat like natural animalistic. Because, like, especially, this jumping ahead a little bit, when they go to, like, try to push the plane out of the crashed hull of the ship. When it finally ends up, they can't, like, shove it out. Sophie kicks it, and it starts flapping like a trapped bird, honestly, or like a trapped butterfly. That's like the energy it has.
I kind of saw it as, like, a trapped bird or, like, a dragonfly. That was the other thing I saw it as. Yeah.
It definitely looked like a creature.
Yeah, it looked like a creature rather than a machine, which is something like that I notice a lot with what's his name? Miyazaki's designs. He does a lot of the like more natural feeling stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I get what you're getting at.
Okay.
Alrighty. But this puts us kind of like into the final like segment, and I know it's the final segment because this is when my pen died and I had to switch colors. You can tell it's the final act when it's in red.
Yeah. Oh, also one thing before we get there, they did move the house right after this. I guess.
And this is one of the coolest sequences. Howl does like a magic mojo thing to like empower Calcifer to be able to just move the castle, and Calcifer has like a massively different design for when he goes like uber powered. He like goes much more demonic and flares up to fill half the room.
So can I just want to say, I don't know why. Okay, I don't know if you've seen this show, but for some reason, it felt like it would really feel like right at home in ReZero.
I have not seen enough of ReZero to speak on that.
Okay.
Because remember, I gave up on it pretty quickly when I tried to watch it.
I don't know. That's true, yeah. I don't know how to describe it. But, like, as I was watching the movie, I've never had this before, because I think the last time I watched this movie was before I watched ReZero, so that would make sense, actually.
Okay.
But as I was watching it this time, I was like, that looks like ReZero, which is weird. I don't know why I would think that. You know? Like, it doesn't... I don't know how to describe it. It's like... Because it just feels ReZero. God, that doesn't make any sense at all, I know. But, like...
I don't know.
It doesn't feel like Miyazaki.
Well, it also, I mean, it plays on the general, like, human perception of what makes things friendly versus, like, scary, because regular Calcifer has, like, round eyes, like, loopy mouth, but when he goes super powered, everything is angular.
That's true. And, like,
that makes your monkey brain go, whoa.
Also, like, you know, when you're watching, like, Miyazaki movies, specifically Miyazaki Ghibli, right? Like, there's not many things that are, like, sharp.
Yeah.
Like, even this movie, I can't think of a single thing that's sharp, like, has sharp edges outside of Calcifer in this specific, like, scenario.
Except for Uberpowered Calcifer. It's not something that happens much.
The only other thing I can think of, but, like, is still not even, comes later, and we'll get to it in a bit, but, like, it has to do with splintered wood. And, like, even the splintered wood is, like, it's not, like, it doesn't look, like, sharp. Does that make sense? I don't know. Like,
I get what you're getting at. Cause, like, I mean, the thing I was thinking was even the, like, the warships, the airships and the battleship, because there's an ironclad as well. Mm-hmm. They're still comparatively pretty rounded.
They're, especially the warships. Like, I mean, I know my friend said, like, oh, it's really cool, it's really funny to see all these warships that are just entirely made of cannons, which is true. Mm-hmm. But also, the warships are so round. Like,
way rounder than an actual warship should be.
Yes. Like, there's so many cannons on them. Like,
gotta have as many as you need.
They're massive cannons too. They're so big.
So I'm gonna kind of roll here for a bit, and just go through a couple of beats here pretty quickly. Stop me if I skip something like actually important. But I feel like
I will for sure.
They move the castle. Howl has a sequence where he's like, Sophie, I got you some things. First of all, check out the new storefront that we'll sell our magic stuff out of, and it's the Hatter shop. Yeah. And so he's like, Sophie, I added a room just for you, and it's literally Sophie's old room.
Yeah. And she loves it. She loves it.
And he's also like, we added a new dial to the door that opens to a secret garden that Howl used to hang out in when he was a kid.
Yep.
But then they see a warship over the garden, and Howl's like, I'll use my demon magic, and starts to turn into the bird thing, because that's the thing we find out is that if Howl uses too much magic, he will permanently transform. Because this is, like, talked about a little bit earlier. He and Calcifer have a conversation about the wizards that are being hired by the king, that they'll, like, lose themselves to the transformation if they do it too much.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's implied that, or it's understood that a Howl will have a similar issue. He could turn into the demon bird permanently if he does that.
And it's also, it's kind of like implied that he's very close to turning into it permanently.
Yeah, he's like on the verge of it, because like even when he's doing like comparatively simple stuff now, he'll start to transform a little bit.
Yes.
Because like when he destroys the battleship, all he does is flick some switches and both of his arms grow feathers.
Yeah, because like when they're in because like he takes Sophie to the garden, and there's battleships there, and so he goes in to try to like stop it from being there. And like the one thing I do like about that scene, right, is that like he says like, hey, or wait, no, he's like, don't worry, they won't crash. I've only halted like their destruction, kind of thing.
And then they turn around and try to attack them.
Yeah, but like also, I really liked that about Howl, because like Howl didn't want to side, because like in this war, obviously, the kingdom wanted him to take one side. He didn't want that. He didn't want any fighting, and so like he also didn't want any more death, I don't think. So him like saying,
because he's complaining he's calling the soldiers murderers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so he doesn't want to become a murderer, and so him being like, hey, don't worry, they won't crash, was like really big, I think. Honestly,
it shows more of his mentality. Yeah, he's literally just trying to incapacitate them, pretty much.
Yeah, like he really is being a pacifist right here.
Mm-hmm.
Which later on we see that he kind of becomes less of that.
Yeah, because that's kind of his development. Is he calls himself a coward. He says he was running away from the witch. He's running away from the kingdom. And later he's like, I need to stand and fight here because I have something to protect. That's something being Sophie.
Yes. Which also I want to say that scene was really funny, because when I was watching it with my friend was like, well, what about the little boy? Did you not want to protect him before? Because he says, like his specific wording, at least in the English subs, is, I finally have something I want to protect.
Yeah, which is effing like, chat from Merkel.
Yeah, which is like, oh, do you not care about Merkel? I guess fuck Merkel then, I guess. Which is really funny, because like Merkel's like his sidekick. It's like his Robin to his Batman.
Honestly,
kind of
Merkel's a good egg.
I love Merkel. Okay, I want to say that. I want to make that on the record. I love Merkel.
Merkel's really good. He's not as good as Turnip.
Okay, that's we'll get into our
best boy debate.
I guess, yeah.
No, I don't think we need to do that, because there's only like 3 of them, and we've made our stances pretty clear.
I will say my best boy.
I think you've gathered who my best boy is.
Well, maybe it's the guy you keep calling best boy.
Who knows? Suleiman attempts to spy on them. She sends Sophie's mom to Sophie, and she's like, oh no, I'm so glad that we got back together. But then she ends up leaving. She leaves her purse behind, and there's like a demon goop bug in it. But Grandma finds it and throws it to Calcifer, and it nearly freaking kills Calcifer, but it gets rid of the bug.
Yeah. She's like, oh, what a common fucking... Because it's like a... it's just like a bug. Like a... That's... Okay, like a spy bug.
Yeah, that's literally
like
what it is. Like, I feel like it's supposed to be the pun. But then exactly Grandma's just like, oh, this shit's weak, do better.
Yep.
And starts smoking the cigar that came with it.
Yeah, and there's a cigar that was in her purse as well. And it's like a lot of purple smoke, which I thought was interesting, because purple is a lot of times considered like a more evil color.
Says the guy sitting in a purple chair.
Maybe that's telling you something. No, but like purple is a lot of times kind of like shown to be more like, or like it's not like exactly evil, but it's like chaotic, right?
Because its original color theory was like royal.
It is royal as well, but also like if you look at Alice in Wonderland, like the Disney movie, the Cheshire Cat is purple,
and he's just a baby. He's chaotic.
He is a chaotic being, and like there's a lot of times when like purple, like I feel like the general like red is generally seen as like a evil color, and green is like a good color, and the same with blue. Blue is also a good color because it's, but purple seems like purple's in the middle, right? because purple is a combination of red and blue, so it's like this chaotic neutral almost, right? Because it's like this combination of like this evil and good color together combined, and now it's chaotic because like it doesn't know, is it good, is it evil? Maybe I'm going on this dumb tangent that doesn't make any sense at all to anybody who's not absolutely drunk out of their mind.
Yeah, I was waiting to take it over.
I can barely feel my hands.
All righty, give me the keys.
You have the keys. You have the keys to the kingdom.
Oh no. Okay, well, the war reaches their fronts. There's a bombing run on the city that Sophie and them all are in. They bail to the castle. Howl is like, I need to fight, goes out to fight, and Sophie's like, no, you're going to turn into a demon if you do that. And he's like, too bad, flies off.
Yep.
Because Calcifer is weakened right now and can't protect them from the bomb, so Howl has to do it.
Yep. Yes.
Now, I've kind of skipped around a little bit too hard. I will admit, this is the only bit of the show that I don't have the best grasp on. I got a little lost here.
Okay. Maybe I can help you.
I'm hoping you can help me.
We'll see.
They
I'm
need...
very drunk.
I can tell. I'm more sober than usual. I just got confused at this bit. They decide they need to get...
Also, we do watch our shows... I want to say, before you continue, we watch our shows sober. We got a comment about that a while back.
That was a long time ago.
That was a long time. We never addressed it. We watch everything sober.
Yeah, we're only drinking while we record our thoughts, our review.
Yeah. I would never watch anime drunk.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I respect the medium too.
Do you think I'd be able to write notes if I were hammered? No. I can barely read my notes when I'm not.
I couldn't comprehend myself if I was drunk watching stuff.
Okay. But I get a little bit confused here. The plot... Okay. Sophie is trying to get Howl to not fight, and the way she's going to do that is to destroy the castle?
Okay.
Because her plan is to pull Calcifer out, and that's going to make the house implode.
Yes. Because Calcifer controls the castle.
What exactly purpose does that serve? How does that help? I kind of missed this.
Okay, so here's how I saw that, right? Is that, like, if she takes Calcifer, destroys the castle, then he might, like, feel that in him and be like, oh, the castle's being destroyed, what's going on with the castle?
And like, come home?
Go back to his house. Come home, kind of thing.
I suppose that's possible.
Especially when she started, like, because then she brings, because I really liked the visual also. I just want to say, when she took Calcifer out of the house, first off, Calcifer has grown a liking to Sophie, and it's like, hey, don't take me out last, because I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't want it, and he doesn't want anything bad to happen to Sophie.
Yeah, because very possibly if Calcifer crossed the threshold first, something could happen to Sophie if she's still technically in the house. Which
also definitely would have happened.
Hands down. The second he crossed the doorstep, the whole inside just...
It's just like, yeah, it sucks into itself, and it's really cool. It's a really cool effect. But then she's like, hey, let's take you back in.
You know what's a really cool effect? This is like quite a bit ago, but I wanted to bring it up, and I'm sorry to like backtrack. But what was a really cool effect was just the visual sequence of when the house teleported and reshaped, just watching the house reform into a new layout. That was really beautifully done.
I love that. I love when the house settles, if that makes sense. You know, like how it like. So like I think it's similar to this. I think it's the same scene you're talking about. When it stopped, like when because you're talking about like when he changes locations of the house of the castle. Right?
Yeah, and like the internal layout of the room shifts. Like the bathroom is added, the bedroom is added.
So I really liked the outside
when the house sits down.
That happened. And it settles, and like everything just kind of like falls and like stops and oh boy, at a certain angle. I've got the hiccups now.
Oh, we need to wrap this episode up soon for your own sake.
Oh boy, yes we do.
You hold your breath and try to fix that. I'll get a move on. But so after like destroying the house, it didn't entirely work. She takes Calcifer back inside, and is like, "All right, can you like move the house again? Can you get the house to move?" And Calcifer's like, "I'm too weak. I would need something of yours." He's like, "Give me your eyes," and she's like, "No, how about this?" And like hands Calcifer her ponytail, which he like burns it off.
The biggest tragedy of the movie, because she goes from long hair to short hair.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna play into the meme. Young Sophie with the short white hair, absolutely gorgeous.
Long hair Sophie is best Sophie.
Anyway,
I love long hair.
Calcifer eats the ponytail, and it's like Popeye with spinach. She's just swole, and the house just starts chugging. And it like picks itself back up, but only part of it, like the very front of the house, starts walking again.
Yeah, it's really it's like, so you've seen this is another reference you're gonna get.
Okay.
So it's like, oh God, look, don't flame me if I get this wrong, okay? But it's just like the Gurren, where it's just the face of the mech.
It's just the head running around.
It's just the head running around.
Definitely.
Right? Like, it's... Oh, man, I love it so much. And, like, even my friend was like, yo, it's the little mecha.
It's the piloted shredder. I'll send you a picture of the Sky Golem later. It's a WoW reference, but the Sky Golem has the same energy.
You should definitely send me that later. Yeah, I want to see it.
It starts running off, and they're, like, running away from the witch, basically. How my notes are kind of crap here because I was pretty absorbed into the show. I'm going to be completely real.
Okay.
They're running away. They like reconvene with Howl. Howl is turned into like rock, like not stone. Rock is in like the mythological bird. And
Can
they
you
like
describe this bird to me.
A massive bird with one leg.
Oh, this is way late.
Did I just skip like a bunch of stuff?
Yes, you did.
Oh.
That doesn't happen till like... That's like the finale.
Oh, there's like this dream sequence in between, isn't there? Because when they like search...
So, okay. Here, I'll describe this.
Grandma picked up Calcifer. Because Calcifer had
Grandma
Howl's
picked up
heart.
Calcifer, and then she sets on fire, and this is when...
This is the bit I remembered.
Like, splashes water. Yeah, this is when Sophie splashes water on Calcifer. And then the house splits in half.
Yeah, because...
Or, like, what's left of the house splits in half.
Because, like, the assumption is that Calcifer just died.
Yeah, and Sophie falls off with his house behind, and then the dog, whose name is Heen, like, jumps to her arms, and, like, they fall off, and it's like, oh, no, they're fucking dead. But then we see that they wake up, or at least Sophie wakes up, and the dog is there as well, Heen, and then she's like, oh no, where's Howl? Uses this ring that Howl gave her before, and to go through the door, because the door falls with them.
The door falls upright.
Yeah, the door falls upright. She goes through it, and she's like back in the field of like the meadow where like all the flowers are, the lake and everything, mm-hmm. where Howl used to go as a kid.
And we see Kid Howl here. We see Kid Howl in like a star shower. What's it called? Meteor shower?
Meteor shower, yeah. And she like starts to run after him, and like we see that like she's getting kind of stuck in the mud. Like there's a lot of mud everywhere, and like obviously it's hard to run in mud. I don't know if have you ever run in mud?
I don't want to think about it. It's stressful.
I have run in mud before, and it's very difficult. It's a very difficult thing to do. And she's doing that, and then she stands there at some point because she sees Howl, and she's like, "Wait, that's Howl as a kid." I'm in the past. And then she realizes she's sinking, like in kind of like in quicksand. She's able to back herself off. But then she sees Howl catch one of the shooting stars, or the meteors, and makes like the deal. And it's Calcifer.
A little flame in his hand.
Yeah. Saying the ground kind of like disappears below her. And like she starts falling in this void. And she's like, Howl, Calcifer, I'll be back for you. Wait for me. I swear I'll be there for you. And they hear that. And so then she wakes up outside of the door, I believe. The door kind of like disappears.
Mm-hmm.
And Howl is there, but like in his bird form. In his one-legged bird form, like you said. I don't remember what exactly you said.
A rock.
Rock.
R-O-C.
Rock form. Yeah, so he's missing a leg. His face is still his own face. It's still Howl's face, like the human form, but the rest of him is this giant bird.
Mm-hmm.
And then she kisses him right on the lips, and then it's like, please take me back to Calcifer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and hops on his leg, and she takes him off, or he takes her off. Sorry.
I suppose before we go into like the final bit, because we've only got like 5 minutes left in the movie at this point.
We don't have a lot left. Yeah, this is the end game.
This area is like the one complaint that I did have.
Okay.
Why are they all so chill with Grandma at this point? Because not only was she the cause of the issue before she got like mega aged and turned senile, she's also the big reason a bunch of it goes to shit here at the end, because she tried to steal Howl's heart and broke the house apart while Calcifer was powering it. Why are they all just so chill with her? Why are they okay with this?
Yeah, that's a big problem I had as well.
That's honestly the only like reasonable complaint I have in this movie.
And I will say that this is, I believe, I want to make sure, this is based on a novel. Or a novel series, possibly. This is not an original work by Ghibli.
Okay.
But, yeah, no, that's a complaint I have as well. I don't like that it seems only Sophie cares about that bit, I will say. Like, only Sophie, like, really is, like, trying to protect Grandma, which is weird. Because she's the one who, like, put the spell on her in the first place. I don't understand.
Yeah, there was a lot of, like, sass and vitriol between them when they were, like, verbally sparring with each other walking up the palace stairs.
Well, even when, like, Sophie first arrives at Howl's house, she's like, I'm gonna get the witch back when I meet her.
Yeah, because she, like, rages when she can't tell Merkel what happened.
Yeah. And then she eats her breakfast real quick. Yeah, no, I don't like the Witch of the what's
Witch of the Waste.
Waste. Yeah. Don't like that. Look, I'm right there with you.
To be fair, though, it did lead to one of my favorite screen grabs. Would we get in trouble if I put that in the video upload? I don't know if we would. I'm going to put it in there if I can.
Put it in there. I will say, though, Ghibli is very strict. So definitely don't put it full screen.
Well, obviously not. It'd be like what I did with Little Creature. I think I'll just play it safe and not put it in. I got a screen grab from when they were flying.
Put it in. Definitely put it in, but just do like you did with Little Creature. Because it is important, but like...
Because I didn't grab like full screen. I just took like a little tiny portion. There's a shot when they're flying out of the castle of the Witch of the Waste with the dog, and the energy is just so good because the witch is grinning and the dog just looks dead inside.
I laughed at so many of those scenes, but also like she's so frustrating.
Yes, very.
Yeah, that's the way I would put her character. It's like at the end she's so frustrating because like... Oh, there's so many ways to get around that, you know?
I'm just going to put together the last few bits and we can... Because that kind of turned into final thoughts. I should have saved that for final thoughts. But
Go for it.
But the last like two things. They find the embers of Calcifer which is still around Howl's heart that Grandma's holding on to. Yeah. And she's like, hey, if I put you back in Howl, will you live? And Calcifer's like, probably, because only if it's you, because I survived when you threw water on me.
Yeah.
So she takes Calcifer, puts the heart back in Howl. Howl gets his heart back. Calcifer flies off, says he's free, but then comes back to like power some castle stuff or something.
Yeah, because he's like, I missed you guys.
He's friends with the group.
Which is cute. Which is cute. I liked that a lot. Yeah. No, I liked that personally.
And Sophie is just like giving thank yous to everybody. She like thanks the witch for giving the heart back after she stole it. Whatever.
She's too nice.
She kisses her, kisses Howl, kisses Calcifer. The turnip saved their lives at this point because they were like sliding down a hill, and Turnip Man just like stopped her, and it like completely fucked up his stick.
This is the bit. The other bit I wanted to mention was like, because he saved their life because he was, but like also his wood was splintering. But even this bit didn't feel sharp.
Yeah.
You know, like the edges didn't feel sharp, whereas it did with Calcifer in his full demonic form.
Yeah. But she's like, thank you, Turnip, for saving our life. Kisses him, and Magic Mojo happens. The kiss of a beloved one transforms him out of the scarecrow cursed form he has. He's literally some prince that's just kind of thrown at us. He literally flies away after that, and it's like,
No,
okay.
He doesn't fly away. No, he doesn't fly away. He jumps. He's like holding onto this staff.
Oh, he keeps hopping on the stick.
The air on this. Yeah, he's hopping on the stick just like the scarecrow did. I loved it so much.
And it's like, okay, cool. Apparently, man named Justin, go do you.
Yep.
That came out of nowhere, but all right.
And then he stopped the war.
Yes.
Well, presumably. So presumably he stopped the war.
Well, partially both, because Suleiman, the dog contacts Suleiman, and Suleiman's like, oh, y'all got your happy ending? That's dumb. I guess I'll end the war.
Yeah.
So, like, both sides call it off because of Justin and Suleiman.
Yep.
Good end, and the credits happen.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you want to summarize your thoughts on this? Because I'd like to go last.
Okay. All right, yeah, that's fine. So, okay. This might come as a surprise to you, right? I like this movie a lot. I do. I really do. It's one of the, like, it's one of those movies I can just kind of watch and just be like, oh yeah, this is a good movie. Obviously, I've watched it like 7 to 8 times now. I don't know exactly how many times, but like, it's fun. Like, there's a lot of things there's some things I have an issue with, right? Like the grandma is very frustrating at the end. She causes all the issues at the end. There's some other things as well. I can't think of them right now, but also like Howl's a pretty boy. I do like my pretty boy anime. I will, like, if you have pretty boy in an anime, I will watch that anime. Like that's just how it kind of goes, you know? But like, yeah, like I have issues with this movie, but also like, it's really comfy.
Yeah.
You know? It's like a comfy movie. And that's why I kind of give this a 7 out of 10. It's one of those that I can kind of go back to, but like it's I don't really see it as anything special. I think there's a lot that could be done better. But like, it's Ghibli. Like, there's very few Ghibli movies that I won't go back to, you know? So again, like, even though I give it a 7, I highly recommend it. Like, I think it's a really good movie. I think everybody should watch this at some point. I think everybody should watch the entire Ghibli library at some point. It doesn't take that long. So, yeah, I guess that's my thoughts. I don't know. Like, I've said a lot of the stuff throughout the episode, I think.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we both did. I
spoiled
spoiled a lot of mine as well. This movie was beautiful. I have some story complaints. I do disagree with the fact that Grandma just kind of got to come along for the ride, even though she kept fucking things up. But I don't think... I mean, I was kind of in this for the story. Like, the story is alright. I mean, there's like this... There's the war plot that doesn't play in that much. I don't feel like it's a begin to end story that really attracts me. It's the visual and the emotion of it. Seeing Howl and Sophie interact, Sophie and Calcifer interact, seeing them develop with each other, and just the art, the smoothness, the beauty of this movie. I feel like the story takes a bit of a backseat in my book. I am very glad I went back to watch it. Like, this was always a show that I had seen but didn't really remember. I absolutely loved this. If I were to give this a proper rating, I don't think this is going to be, like, officially rated anywhere. I don't know if it's on Mal. It probably is. I don't know. I don't know if Mal does movies.
It does.
This would be like a 9.5. Like, if I could do 0.5s, it'd be a 9.5. I am legitimately split. Since the platform I use doesn't give 0.5s, don't use this as a plug. I have to pick either a 9 or a 10. And frankly, I don't know which it is. Like, it was amazing, and I loved watching it. I don't know if it was good enough to give the, like, award of damn near perfect that, at this point, as far as the podcast goes, I've literally only given to Kill la Kill.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make my official rating as per the podcast rules a 9.5. It's right on the verge of being something incredible. And it may well be. It may end up being officially rated a 10 by me on my Mal page. We'll see.
All right. Yeah. So that's interesting because, like, when I was watching this with my friend, both of us, like, at the end, like, I already knew what my thoughts were about this movie, and I knew it wasn't really going to change. To be fair, it did slightly go up, right? Like, it did go up from a 6.5 to a 7, right? Because I did, like, enjoy a lot of the animation and stuff. I've come to appreciate animation a lot more recently. But when when we were watching it, he was like, at the end, he was like, "Well, that was fine." It wasn't, like, amazing, and it wasn't, like, garbage. It was fun, which is what I would classify this movie as. You know, it's like, it's fun. It's a fun time. I would recommend this movie to other people, but, like, it's not one of my favorites. I mean, there's some of my favorites that I would not recommend to other people.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. You know? I know that boat.
Like, there's very, like, I would have to know that person to know they would like it. Like, it's like, there's very, like, Yami Shibai, I don't know if you would like it or not, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's...
And I mean, as far as comparing it to other things, this is part of the reason why I don't know if I can get in good conscience put it at 10 instead of a 9, because, like, frankly, if I stack this up against, like, Spirited Away, spoilers, if we ever do a Spirited Away episode, Spirited Away is probably a 10. Like,
it's a 10 for me.
Howl's Moving Castle is not as good as Spirited Away. It was still gorgeous. I still loved this movie. I don't know if I can put it on the same tier as something like how Kill la Kill affected me, like how I was about to say another 10 in my book, but I'm going to save that because we might talk about it on this show.
That's true, we might. Yeah, I think I know what
you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I mean, like, this definitely did not affect me like a Devilman Crybaby or like a Haikyuu or like just Devilman in general, I should say. But like any of those, like, it did not affect me that way. But also, I'm not the one giving it such a high score.
Yeah, no, I'm the one who's acting like it's the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, see, this fits in perfectly with my 7s. It's fun. I like when you said last week that this is what we're watching, I had no complaint. I knew I would have fun with it, and I'm glad that it didn't drop. Honestly, that's what I'm glad about. I'm happy it didn't drop down.
Screw it, I'm going to say it. There are several movies, not necessarily anime, but there are several movies that I refuse to watch because I know I will not like them like I used to. Like, dude, there's a reason I haven't watched Shark Boy and Lava Girl since I was like 10.
Yeah, me too, buddy. Me too.
I want to keep that movie as a perfect work of art in my head, and I know if I watch it, that will be shattered.
I know as soon as I see George Lopez, I'm like, oh no, this is not as good as I remembered. Yeah, no, I understand fully. All right, well, with that, I think that's about the end of this episode. I think it's time for us to. So next week, what are we watching next week? What's next week's show?
Next week, we forgot to prepare, so we looked at the oh crap list.
That's true. I can't argue.
Our last tentative option, because our last two, I call them dual choice. Our last two dual choice episodes went up head to head against each other. Corey was Zombie won the coin flip, and then not Mysterious Girlfriend. What was the other one?
Cutie Honey.
Cutie Honey
Universe.
Cutie Honey Universe was like the follow up on that. What we never actually said was there was a third competitor in that challenge.
There was.
That got eliminated early. And since we did not plan ahead like smart people, we're going to be watching that third one. We're hitting next week with Gabriel Dropout.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I don't know about you. I am really excited because I do like my cute girl shows.
I've heard really, really good things about this show from I have another friend who watches a lot of anime. Obviously, I don't review it. He games on Twitch, but I'm pretty sure he watched Gabriel Dropout and said it was really good. I may be confusing it with a different friend who is big on anime. At least one, if not two, of two people that I talked to said this was good.
I've seen a lot of good stuff on Twitter. I like the character design, so I'm excited. I can't wait. So yeah, that's what we're watching next week.
Next week.
Good
I'm
Lord.
going to hit our shill segment, but I'm going to do it really, 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 really fast. Light speed shill. We are on both podcast platforms and YouTube. On YouTube, we have cameras, but on podcast platforms like Spotify, Apple Play, etc., we're portable. Check out whichever one is more convenient for you. If
whichever one works.
You wish to directly support us, you can do that on Anchor, but it is not expected. We're just glad you're here.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening. If you watch on any platform, we love you.
We really do. Honestly, that's something like we really do love it. Like, if you don't have to leave a comment, you don't have to leave a like. We just like seeing your little number pop up on the view counter. That's like, it's amazing. I love it so much.
Anyone's number except Tom's. You know who you are.
I love you, Tom. But like, also like, also if you do want to support us and don't have the monetary like ability to,
literally just being here is enough.
As long as you listen to us on a audio only platform, anything other than YouTube, we get a slight kickback because we have a bit of an ad. That's it, though.
Yeah, what do you mean slight? It's small enough to not really be a big difference, but technically,
we've not even made $2 yet. I don't think.
I think we're at like $1.80 after a half a year of this, but that's not what we're in it for.
Nice.
We're
not in it for the money.
If
we're
we get to that point, that's
like,
cool.
Also, and then also, don't forget to follow both of us on Twitter.
Yes, we have Twitters
where you'll see updates on the podcast if there's any delays or anything like that, or you just get to follow our funny tweets. It's funny.
He posts about anime, I post about the podcast, and then apologize for never posting.
Yeah. Then follow me on YouTube. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel where I make really cool videos. I make a lot of AMVs and like a lot of video essays. It's really fun. I'm working on a couple now, so yeah, go follow us there. And that's all the shilling we have to do.
We've been trying to get the time of our podcast cut down, so I'm going to go ahead and call a wrap here.
Call it. Call the wrap. It's wrap. Wrap is called.
Oh, it's called. We're over. Sorry. Bye.
Yeah. We'll see you next week with Gabriel Dropout.
See ya.
Have a good one, guys.